the Preston scout, Reg Keating, became a family friend, and we promised him that we would certainly look at Preston. We had interest naturally from the local clubs, but I was advised not to sign for them because they were signing everyone up and getting very few opportunities to play. That's when it all started, going to Preston.
We met the couple that he was going to stay with, and she showed us around and where he was going to sleep and everything. We couldn't find a fault, and we couldn't find a fault with the club. They were wonderful, and we just couldn't say no. And his dad said he had to please himself. He wanted to stay, and I said no. But they've been our only one, But anyhow, we stayed, and we travelled back in the train, and we couldn't speak to each other. It was so heartbreaking, But we used to go as often as we could, and they used to put us up, this couple, We used to always go there, and we used to spend a weekend with them or something like that. So it turned out all right, yes. And he was very happy there,
In 1962, at the tender age of 15, Howard Kendall's footballing journey was about to begin.
I mean, that's where I used to stay in digs, and it was just a little walk round the corner to the ground. It was perfect.
When he became full-time, he couldn't come home as often, you see. But when he was a junior in the reserves, he was home about once a fortnight. But when he got into the main team, the first team, he never come home. So we just decided to follow him.
Well, our first meeting basically was at Preston North End, where I was an apprentice there, and he was at the club at the same time, and we just got to be mates, basically, training and playing together, and it just went from there, really. You didn't really realise anything at the time. You were just kids, and the press wasn't as intense, and so forth. And if it was in the local paper, and the dailies got it a little bit, but generally speaking, you just played and just enjoyed it. You didn't think about any pressure. It was just enjoy your game and play. And that's the way it was run at Preston. It was great for that.
At the age of 16, Howard made his first team debut for Preston North End against the club he grew up supporting as a young boy.
Well, coming up the steps there and up the players' entrance, I mean, it's a big change to this stadium since I made my debut. It's absolutely magnificent. It was ironic, really, that the fixture list the way it was at the end of the season, and the manager gave me, Jimmy Milne, the manager, gave me the opportunity to play first team football for the last couple of games. It just coincided with it being Newcastle and Middlesbrough.
When he got up in the big team, the main team, I couldn't watch him. I stayed away, and I couldn't watch him. No, I was frightened in case he got hurt.
She didn't have to wait long, though, because my second game was at Middlesbrough, and the late Cyril Knowles came in with a crunching tackle, and I had twisted my knee ligaments. So I was off all summer. When my mum found out the damage that had been done, she said, "I'm not going to watch you again." But she did on one occasion. That was in 1964 at the cup final.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She went down on that one.
Yeah.
1964 was a big year for young Howard Kendall. He skippered the England junior team to a 4-0 win over Spain in the Junior World Cup final played in Holland. Howard then went on in that same year to become the youngest player ever to have played in an FA Cup final.
It was really an honour, to be the youngest player, and that's how we used to worry about him, because he was always younger than everybody else,
Well, he played very, very well indeed, and I remember him, from that day really more than anything else.
They scored a goal in the first half, and the whole gang of us from Preston, we went into the toilets and we're dancing around, we're winning. Oh gosh, and they won at the finish, you know. It was West Ham, wasn't it? So we come home. We were very proud of them, though, you know, for being at Wembley, you know. And there was a whole crowd, you know, when we got home. They were waving to them and everything, you know. It was lovely. It was really lovely. You just think we'd won when we got back to Preston.
When we were kids at Preston, we got, obviously, the first team got to the cup final. I wasn't involved in it, but I was his mate at the club. And they took the players away and wives to Mallorca, Pontins in Mallorca. Can you believe it? And I'd never been abroad before, and I'm sure Howard probably hadn't been too far. Anyway, I think I was dragged along purely to keep him company. Two young lads. Well, we ended up going to this Pontins, and we did have a laugh. We actually ended up staying there for an extra week, me and Howard, and we became we were on the staff and was reading out the bingo and various other things, and in the end they had to put us on the coach to bring us back because we just lost track of what was going on. And they chucked us on the coach at night and off we went. And I always remember we flew into London, we got sombreros on, we still got our shorts and t-shirts on. We must have looked a right pair of idiots.
Preston North End's fame and Kid Kendall's reputation had even reached the regulars of the Rovers' return. Now Howard was being watched by a lot of the big clubs, and Liverpool were one of them.
Well, there was a big hype about me signing for Liverpool when I was moving from Preston. And I remember Jimmy Milne, the manager, knocking on the door. My father went to the door, and Jimmy Milne said, "I've got a club for your son." And my dad immediately said, "Liverpool?" And he said, "No, across the park." Then Harry Catterick and Harry Cook were waiting at Deepdale here to meet me and discuss the move to Everton.
In 1967, Howard was signed by Harry Catterick in an £80,000 deal, which upset Bill Shankly so much he offered to resign as the Liverpool boss.
Because Liverpool had not signed me, Shankly offered his resignation in writing and put it to Peter Robinson, the chief exec, at that particular time, and Peter put it in his drawer, and that was it. It was there for years. It was nice to hear, you know, that such a great manager and great man thought highly of me at that particular time, highly enough to offer his resignation.
The career that you had in the game speaks volumes for a player, and in Howard's case, he played with some very famous clubs and had a great career.